Welcome, Yavapai County. My name is Laurin, Custis. I'm the Director of Elections. This is our next installment of our video series, Yavapai Votes. And I'm interviewing today Michelle Burchill, who's the Yavapai County Recorder. And Michelle, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Great. I would like to know, and for you to tell our viewers, what is your daily duties as recorder?
Okay, so my daily duties actually include me overseeing two different departments here at Yavapai County. So the boring side, the one nobody's interested in, is the recording of documents. So we receive hundreds of documents a day, sometimes more, we are actually putting into historical data. So we are actually publishing it online and making this a part of a retention record for anybody to actually look at in the future. So we're kind of a library record keeper of documents, and that will include anything from land surveys, titles, deeds, trusts, anything that the public would choose to come in and record.
So anyone can go on to your website and search for a recorded document?
Absolutely, and we actually have all the documents here for Yavapai County all the way to back to when the county was born, back in 1864, I believe. And we have those documents here in our possession in the city of Prescott at a location in a vault, where you can actually come and view those documents all the way from back when we became a county.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and what's really neat about it is Yavapai County is actually one of the few counties in the United States that have one of the longest unbroken chains of custody when it comes to our records, because we've never had any major natural disasters, fires, floods, things like that, that have taken or ruined any of those documents. So something to be proud of.
Very good.
So besides that, the thing that everybody's interested in, of course, is voting. And I oversee a lot of what happens here with Yavapai County elections and voting. So I actually, my second part of my job, the more interesting side, is I oversee early voting, the voter rolls, signature verification, in-person early voting, drop boxes, and all those fun things.
Okay, I have a few questions.
Sure.
So how many early voting locations do you manage?
Currently, we have 3 early voting locations, which we open 27 days prior to Election Day. This gives our voters every opportunity in the world to vote. So if you can't make it on Election Day, you can't make it in person during that 27 days, we also will give you the option to vote by mail. So they can actually sign up for what we call the AVOL, which is the Active Early Voter List. And they can actually receive a ballot for all elections by mail if they choose to. But one thing we try to tell our voters is, if you're going to be an early voter, please actually vote early.
All right. And how many drop boxes do we have in the county?
Currently, we have 19 drop boxes throughout the county, and those are available that entire time that early voting begins. So that 27 days prior to the election, you can drop off your ballot by mail, a drop box, bring it here to the recorder's office, or of course you can wait and vote in person on Election Day.
All right. So one of the hot topics we hear out in the community is, or that people want to know, is how do you clean the voter rolls?
So we take pride in saying that we have some of the cleanest rolls. We are constantly maintaining those rolls. Actually, on an average, 300 people move per week in Yavapai County. So that's 300 times we are touching those voter rolls, updating information, changing information, moving voters in, moving voters out. We work with our USPS with what we call the National Change of Address. And what that does is they notify us and let us know when they're receiving information from somebody here in our county that they have put in a notice for a permanent change of address. So then when we get that information, if the voter hasn't already let us know that they've moved, which of course, when you're in the middle of moving, the last thing you're thinking about is your voter registration. we will actually use that information and send something by forwardable mail to them saying, hey, we heard you moved, and give them an opportunity to update that information for us.
And how long do they have to get back to you?
We give them 35 days from the time we send that letter to actually respond, and we will update the information that we receive. Now, if they don't respond, what happens is they're going to be inactive, which means they're not off of the voter rolls, but they will not be receiving any further information from us or ballots or anything until they remedy the situation. So this is a way to not penalize them if they just haven't got around to responding or updating that information.
And how do you manage our voters who've passed away?
So we will actually receive monthly records that let us know if somebody's been deceased. We will also have people whose family members will notify us also. And of course, if we send something out and get it returned mail, that's all going to start the investigation. What happens then is if somebody's deceased, they are actually canceled from the rolls. So they will no longer be an active voter in any way. We do not send ballots to dead people. But it is something that we have to keep on top of. So whether it's somebody having a felony record, somebody saying they have a felony to get out of jury duty, don't do that, voters, because it's going to affect your ability to vote. If it's deceased records or somebody moving or changing an address, all of those things we are actively maintaining and changing and updating our information with on a daily, if not minute basis.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in, Yavapai County. We appreciate it, and stay tuned for our next installment videos. Have a great day.